Good morning students, welcome to Advait Axom. I am your English educator, my name is Nitisha and ami ADRE class 2 one word substitution part 2 aji পঢ়িব গৈ আছো last class মই part 1 to পঢ়াইছিলো june soa nai you can go back and you can watch that first part and last part 2 we talked about one word substitutions and you know tumar we talked about root words, words that end with crazy. Okay, we talked about systems of government. Okay, systems of government mane ki tumar etia democracy, right, plutocracy. We talked about democracy, plutocracy, and then we talked about human behaviors, human personalities, human behavior or upora jibur words hai one word substitution. For example, we have optimist, we have pessimist, right? Then we talked about phobias, we talked about phobia fear, we talked about manias, right? So ami kiki phobia porhisilu, we studied, we dealt with a lot of phobias idinahon. Acrophobia porhisilu, hydrophobia ki hoy we got to know, claustrophobia ki hoy. Okay, so in the previous class, the part 1 of this class, we talked about systems of government. We talked about one word substitutions based on your human behaviors, personalities, one word substitutions based on phobia, mania. Okay, ADRE class 2 we'll talk about words that end with logy ba graphy. Okay, this is just I have brought a couple of slides tumalukor jate quick eta revision hoi jay. Okay, logy ba graphy usually ki bujay, subjects bujay. Okay, they denote what? Subjects. All right, so ita amar life sciences and biology. Okay, so we have what? Biology. Ita tumalukor jodi ahe question or the study of living organisms and their life processes. Titia kuntu subject hobo? Biology hobo. Okay, and then we have zoology. What is zoology? It is the what? Study of behavior, structure and physiology of animals. Ita tumalukor jodi question or animals boli thake, the study of animals. Okay, study of animals boli jodi thake, titia you have to tick what? Zoology. All right, it a botany hoise tumar study of plants. Okay, botany hoise study of plants. What is anatomy? Anatomy is the study of the bodily structure of humans, animals and other organisms. Okay, so bodily structure or jodi tumar ahe, bodily structure. Okay, bodily structure of humans or animals or any living organisms, ita hetu ki koy? Anatomy. All right, then what is physiology? Physiology is a branch of biology dealing with the normal functions of living organisms. Microbiology ki hoy? Microbiology studies the microscopic organisms like bacteria, viruses and fungi. Okay, now entomology. Okay, what is entomology? Study of insects. Tumalukor jodi question out ahe one word substitution, the study of insects is known as. Okay, tita ki hobo answer? Entomology. Ornithology hoise study of birds. These questions ebur tumalukor ahi thake question. Okay, exam ot tumar. So tumar insects or study hole ki hobo? Entomology. Aru birds or tumar jodi koy the scientific study of birds, tita answer ki hobo? Ornithology. All right, then fisher logot ki hoy? Ichthyology. Okay, and then the branch of zoology concerned with reptiles and amphibians. Ita tumalukor eta sob tubar zoology gute animals or it's the study of all the animals. Okay, tare tumar zoology eta it's these are branches. Okay, herpetology ki hoise? Herpetology is the specific study of reptiles. okay ki hoy reptiles and amphibians okay amphibians ki hoy amphibians are organisms that live both on what land and water ঠিক আছে এইখিনি মই জাস্ট তোমালোকৰ এটা কুইক ৰিভিজনৰ কাৰণে আনিছো ঠিক আছে এইটো লাইফ সায়েন্সেস এন্ড বায়োলজিৰ ওপৰত এইকেটা ওয়াৰ্ডস হয় এন্ড এইকেটা কি হয় देयर মিনিংস সো ইউজুয়ালি কোৱেশ্চনত কেনেকৈ আহিব the scientific study of insects is known as what options দি দিব তোমালোকৰ right তো তেতিয়া কোড ক্লিক কৰিব লাগিব তোমাৰ you have to tick in what entomology okay quickly let's go through these slides for your revision and then we'll go to the questions okay medical sciences logot tumar eketa words jorito okay so what is pathology the science of the causes and effects of disease especially the branch of medicine that examines laboratory samples so pathology hoise the branch of medicine that studies what that examines okay it examines what laboratory samples cardiology cardio word to ahar loge loge amar heart or logot associated okay when the word cardio comes you have to remember cardio mane ki hoise tumar heart or logot related dermatology boli dekha pale skin or logot related ঠিক আছে এইকেটা see dermatology is what branch of medicine concerned with the diagnosis and treatment of skin orders so dermatology derma word to dekha pale skin or logot associate koribo lagibo cardio dekha pale heart or logot similarly neuro dekha pale kar logot relate koribo lagibo nerve ঠিক আছে nerve or logot all right it is what nervous system the branch of medicine or biology that deals with the functions organic disorders of nerves and nervous system oncology ki hoy when the word onco when you see the word onco cancer or logot relate koribo lagibo cancer tumor ঠিক আছে ইয়াতে লিখাই আছে see tumors and cancer okay and then jeta word hema thake hematology hoar loge loge ki hobo blood ঠিক আছে hematology hoar loge loge ki hobo blood or logot associate koribo lagibo and then we have epidemiology what is epidemiology the branch of medicine which deals with incidence distribution and control of disease in populations okay epidemic boli je koy kunba ta jagat ki hoise a certain what disease has what spread so hetu tumar epidemic boli koy right so hey epidemiology it studies what deals with the incidence distribution and control of disease in populations okay and we have toxicology toxic word to dekha pa lage lage ki hobo poison okay toxic word jeta ami dekhim we have to associate it with what toxic mane ki another word for toxic was poisonous hoy na noy toxic or another word synonym is what poison so toxicology boli dekhar lage lage ami poison or logot associate korim okay moving on amar eta ki ase ami ki what did we deal with ami biology kisuman words you know life sciences or kisuman words or logot we got you know the definition of it and then ami disease or kisuman right very junbur common hoy recurring questions hoy hebur logot okay next we have earth space and environment eta environment geology mane ki what does geology mean it studies the earth's physical structure and substance earth's physical structure and substance junto you know the science that deals with earth's physical structure and what substance is called geology meteorology ki hoy what is meteorology it is the branch of science which is concerned with the processes and phenomenon of atmosphere forecasting weather amar je phone ahi thake message right imd what forecasts what that there is going to be a rainfall in another what 2 hours amar message ahi thake sobore phone ote message ahe kune die message to kor pora ahe imd hoy ki hoy Indian Meteorological Department imd m stands for what meteorology kar logot deal kore weather ঠিক আছে meteorology word to dekha por loge loge you have to associate it with what weather now climatology word nam tute ase climateor logot ঠিক আছে ecology ki hoy ecology political or biological science concerning the relation of organisms to another or what to one another and their physical surrounding. So ecology hoise the relation to my ecosystem. Ecosystem boli koy na nokoy. What is ecosystem? What is ecology? It is what? It studies the relationship of one organism to another, also their surrounding, environmental logot. Thik ase? Then we have paleontology. Paleontology dekhar loge loge fossil animals. Thik ase? Fossil animals jeneke tumar etia dinosaurs hoi gol. Thik ase? So paleontology dekhar loge loge you have to remember what? Dinosaur boli mod rakhile hoi jabo, because ki hoy dinosaur? Fossil animals now, right? Fossil animals and plants. Then we have seismology. What is seismology? It studies earthquake. Seismo, a word to dekhar loge loge. Seismo mane earthquake or logot associate koriba. Thik ase? Hydrology. Hydrology word to water, right? Hydrology naam tute ase hydro. When you know hydro, hydro ki hoy? Water bodies hobo na hoy, right? Water. Okay, branch of science concerned with the properties of Earth's water, especially its movement in relation to land. And then we have cosmology. Cosmology, cosmo word to dekhar loge loge universe or logot relate koribo lagibo. Thik ase? The science of the origin and development of the universe. Okay? So now we'll move on to what? We move on to human society, culture and mind. Okay? So anthropology ki hoy? Anthropology study of human societies and cultures. Okay? A word to ahiye thake. Sociology, social, socio, society logot associate kori dia. Okay? Sociology, study of what? The human functioning of human society. Okay? Sociology, society logot. Anthropology, human tumar society and culture pore. Thik ase? Psychology ki hoy? Psychology, mind or logot associate korilwa. Mind. Okay? Studies human mind. Thik ase? Archaeology ki hoy? Archaeology. Archaeology tumar, it's what? It studies what? The human history and prehistory through the excavation of sites and analysis of artifacts. Okay? Itia tumar, it's study of history. Okay, archaeology keneke porhe? They dig, excavation kore. Excavation mane ki? They go to certain places, okay, historical sites or jai, and then they dig up to find what? Artifacts. Artifacts mane ki? Kisuman tumar ei ki koy, you get pots, you get, you know, artwork, kisuman hebur they excavate. Okay, and then what happens? They read. He porhe, porhi pele gom pai tumar kunba eta artwork jodi ase ba kiba eta pottery eta ihote ki derive korise, and then they study kiman agor hoy. Thik ase? So it's a study of what? Human history and prehistory through excavation of what? Sites and analysis of artifacts. Criminology, naam tute ase. Criminology mane ki? Study of crime and criminals, right? Then we have demographic. What is demography? The study of statistics such as birth, death, income, incidence of disease, which illustrate the changing structure of human population. Okay, so demography hoise, it studies what? Statistics porhe. Thik ase? Tumar ki statistics porhe? Birth, death, income, gutekhini. That is what? That is affecting, that is causing change in the population. And then we have genealogy. What is genealogy? Genealogy is the line of descent traced continuously from an ancestor. Study of family history, in short. Family history jodi study hoy tumar ita is a genetics, the word genetics, right? Genealogy. Then we have etymology. A word to ahiye thake. Okay, it's a very what? Common question. Etymology ki hoise? The study of origin of words. Okay, and how the way in which their meanings have changed through history. Okay, etymology hoise meaning of words. Meaning of words. Okay, then we have graphology. What is graphology? Study of handwriting. Study of handwriting. Thik ase? Then we have philology. What is philology? Is the study of language. Okay, the branch of knowledge that deals with the structure, history, development and relationship of language or languages. Okay, so I have brought these what? Words, right? A particular eketa slides or tumar ki ase jate life science and biology uporot ketaman words ase, right? And tumaloko question ot keneke ahibo pare jeneke moi koisilu, the scientific study of birds is known as, right? And then question out tomorrow options, you will have options that মাইক্ৰোবায়োলজি বুলি আছে, হেপাটলজি আছে, অৰ্নিথলজি আছে, এনাটমি বুলি আছে। কি বুলি টিক কৰিব লাগিব? কুৱেশ্যনটো সুধিছে ষ্টাডি অফ বাৰ্ড, চ' অৰ্নিথলজি, ৰাইট? এইখিনি। এণ্ড দেন লাইফ আমি চায়েন্সেছৰ ওপৰত চালোঁ, মেডিকেল চায়েন্সেছৰ ওপৰত যোনকেইটা কুৱেশ্যনছ, যোনকেইটা ৱৰ্ডছ কমন হয়, ঠিক আছে, ৰেকাৰিং হয়, এইকেইটা আমি চালোঁ। দেন উই হেভ আৰ্থ, স্পেচ এণ্ড এনভাইৰনমেণ্টৰ ওপৰত যিকেইটা ৱৰ্ডছ আছে, অ'কে, এইকেইটা। এণ্ড নেক্সট আমি কি চালোঁ? হিউমেন ছ'চাইটিৰ ওপৰত। এন্থ্ৰপলজি, ছ'চিয়লজি, এইবোৰ ৱৰ্ডছৰ প্ৰায় আহিয়ে থাকে, ঠিক আছে। দিছ এন্থ্ৰপলজি, ছ'চিয়লজি, সাইকলজি, আৰ্কিঅলজি, অ'কে। এণ্ড দেন ইটিমলজি, দিছ ইজ ভেৰি ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট। ইটিমলজি আহিয়ে থাকে কুৱেশ্যনছ, অ'কে। চ' এইকেইটা আমি কি চালোঁ? উই চ দ্য মিনিং এণ্ড দেৰ ৱাট ওৱান ৱৰ্ড ছাবষ্টিটিউটছ, ৰাইট? মিনিংবোৰ গম পালোঁ, এণ্ড কোনটো ছাবজেক্টে কি পঢ়ায় সেইটোও আমি গম পালোঁ। হোৱাট ইট ডিলছ উইথ, ক্ৰিমিনলজি ডিলছ উইথ হোৱাট? ক্ৰাইম এণ্ড ক্ৰিমিনেলছ। চ' কিছুমান ৱৰ্ডছ তোমালোকে ৱৰ্ডটো দেখাৰ লগে লগে ইউ উইল ফিগাৰ আউট, ঠিক আছে? কিছুমান ৱৰ্ড দেখাৰ লগে লগে ইউ উইল ফিগাৰ আউট। এতিয়া যেনেকৈ মই কৈ আছিলোঁ, চাইকলজি, এই চাইকি এই ৱৰ্ডটো দেখাৰ লগে লগে ইউ হেভ টু এছ'চিয়েট ইট উইথ মাইণ্ড, ৰাইট? আৰু এই আগত যে তোমালোকৰ এই ডিজিজৰ যোনটো, ৰাইট? ইয়াতে তোমালোকক মই কি কৈছিলোঁ? দিজ ৱৰ্ডছ কাৰ্ডিঅ' দেখাৰ লগে লগে কাৰ লগত এছ'চিয়েট কৰিবা? হাৰ্টৰ লগত। ডাৰ্মাটলজিষ্ট, ডাৰ্মা দেখাৰ লগে লগে স্কিন। নিউৰ' দেখাৰ লগে লগে কি? নাৰ্ভছ, ৰাইট? অংকলজি, অংক দেখাৰ লগে লগে ইউ হেভ টু এছ'চিয়েট ইট উইথ কেঞ্চাৰ, অ'কে। এণ্ড দেন হেমাটলজি, হেমাটলজি কি আছিলে? ইট ইজ হোৱাট? দ্য ষ্টাডি অফ হোৱাট? ব্লাড। চ' হেমা এই ৱৰ্ডটো দেখাৰ লগে লগে, হেমাটলজি দেখাৰ লগে লগে ব্লাডৰ লগত এছ'চিয়েট কৰিব লাগিব, ঠিক আছে? টক্সিক মই কৈছিলোঁ কি? টক্সিকৰ আনাডাৰ ৱাট চিনোনিম কি হয়? পয়জন, ৰাইট? চ' টক্সিক দেখাৰ লগে লগে আমি পয়জনৰ লগত এছ'চিয়েট কৰিব লাগিব, ৰাইট? অ'কে, চ' নাও এইখিনি তোমালোকৰ এটা কুইক ৰিভিজন হৈ গ'ল, ৰাইট? দেৰ ইজ দিছ ৱাট? কুইক ৰিভিজন অফ these words. Now let's move on to questions. All right, so মই এবাৰ যে এইবোৰ questions আছে তোমালোকে দেখি আছে SSC, CGL, UPSC, এইবোৰ চেন্ট্ৰেল এক্সামৰ কিছুমান questions হয়, because টপিকটো একেই হয়, ঠিক আছে? টপিক একেই হয়, one word substitution, right? one word substitution. So these are I think moderate level questions, কিছুমান difficult হ'ব, right? difficult হ'ব পাৰে. So let's go through it, let's deal with it together. Okay, june june tumaloke sai asa, okay? If you know the answers, keep commenting. All right, so a person who helps another to commit a crime or do something wrong, etur ki answer hobo? First question to answer to ki hobo? The person who helps another to commit a crime or do something wrong, ki hobo pare? Answer to it will be accomplice, okay? Accomplice. All right, so যেতিয়া ক্ৰাইম আহি যায়, commit a crime or do something wrong, তেতিয়াহ'লে answer to accomplice হ'ব। What is the meaning of colleague? Colleague is what? What is colleague? Colleague is someone who what? With whom you work, okay? Colleague হৈছে আমি wordটো use কৰোঁ to associate what? Someone with whom you work, okay? And then assistant কি হৈছে? Assistant is someone, if I am a teacher, you know, if I am a teacher, I might have a what? Student assistant, right? Assistant was someone who helps, okay? Someone who helps, all right? Supporter ki hoise? Supporter tomar usually eta political ki thake, tomar leaders bilakor supporters thake, right? So ami okol question to answer nohoy, ami ei je options ase, options buroru ami one word substitute hisabe pori goi thakim, meaning bilak moi koi goi thakim, jate suppose tumalukor colleague or uporte jodi question ahe, okay? A person who what? A person who works with what? Someone else, right? A person who works with someone else, a person who is your acquaintance বুলিও হ'ব পাৰে। acquaintance এটা word আছে, acquaintance, okay? acquaintance এই wordটো আহিব পাৰে, ঠিক আছে? So এটো হৈ গ'ল a place where government or public records are kept, কি হ'ব পাৰে? A place where government records, place where public or government records are kept, কি হ'ব পাৰে? কি হ'ব পাৰে? কি হ'ব পাৰে আনসাৰটো? এটো হ'ব আৰ্কাইভ, ওকে? এতে চাবা গভৰ্নমেন্ট অৰ পাব্লিক ৰেকৰ্ডছ কৈছে ন, ৰেকৰ্ডছ কোৱাৰ লগে লগে কি হৈ যাব? আৰ্কাইভ হ'ব, ঠিক আছে মিউজিয়ামত কি থয় মানুহে মিউজিয়ামৰ কি পাৰপাস হয় where old artifacts are kept যদি কোৱেশ্চনত থাকিলে হয় a place where what old artifacts are kept তেতিয়া কি হ'ব আনসাৰ museum shelf to jana shelf amar book shelf hoy right book shelf and then we have cellar cellar usually tumar underground hoy okay word cellar underground hoy and cellar ami wine cellar boli you know use kora jay okay something that is underground storage room that is underground an assembly of listeners at a lecture or concert ki hobo pare kwa ki hobo pare an assembly of listeners at a lecture or concert ki hobo pare answer to hobo audience ঠিক আছে answer to hobo audience congregation word to ami religious purpose or use koru usually ঠিক আছে congregation word to ami religion or logot associate koru if it is a religious gathering congregation kobo pare mob ki hoy mob hoise tumar violent it is a what crowd of people that can turn what violent or that has turned violent ঠিক আছে one who looks at the dark side of things eto ami last class o ami discuss korisu ki hoy one who looks at the dark side of things dark side mane ki negative bujay ki hobo pessimist hobo right what is the meaning of the word pacifist pacifist or meaning ki hobo what is the meaning of the word pacifist ki hobo pare pacifist or tumi monot rakhiba simply peacemaker ঠিক আছে peacemaker word pacifist or meaning to ki hoy peacemaker mane suppose kunuba duta party e kaija kori ase they are fighting ঠিক আছে then someone comes and ki kore they try to resolve it okay so ki hobo pacifist or tumar another meaning peacemaker bole monot rakhiba ঠিক আছে a person who is long experienced or practiced in a activity ki hobo long experience bole jite ahe ami ki boli ko answer answer number 5 toma answer kora question number 5 or ki hobo a person who is long experienced or practiced in an activity ki hobo answer hobo veteran mane someone who has long experience kiba ta kam bahut agor pora kori ase they have what a good experience long experience ঠিক আছে এতিয়া এই যে amateur আৰু novice এই দুটা word dutare similar meaning hoy okay when you do not have any experience amateur is someone who is doing something for the first time ঠিক আছে experience নাই novice o tenuka hoy novice or tumar another word tumar beginner boli kobo para ঠিক আছে beginner ba novice okay so tumalokor yate synonyms o ahi gol eta jodi novice or synonym hoy beginner hoy gol right virtuoso a word to ki hoy what does the word virtuoso mean virtuoso ki hoy do you know anyone what is the meaning of the word virtuoso virtuoso is also it means someone who is extremely skilled okay in an activity ami usually musical instrument you know tar logot associate koru someone who is extremely talented in playing a particular musical instrument for example jodi moi ko Zakir Hussain is a tabla virtuoso বুজি পাইছা এটো example দি বুজালো যে Zakir Hussain is a tabla virtuoso মানে কি he is known for what he is known for his what tabla expertise right he is a tabla virtuoso বুজি পালা okay virtuoso word to meaning to tumar usually it's you know it is associated with playing a musical instrument okay ঠিক আছে okay let's move on the state of remaining unmarried especially for religious purpose ahi joar loge loge celibacy hoi jabo answer to ঠিক আছে state of remaining what unmarried ene jodi hoy dita ki hobo tumar a man who is unmarried is known as what a bachelor right a man who is unmarried is known as bachelor a woman who is not married is known as what spinster boli kobo pari yate ma ki hudise state of remaining unmarried especially for religious reasons ahar loge loge celibacy hoi jay ঠিক আছে monogamy mane ki hoy what is monogamy what is polygamy Monogamy is having just one. You can marry what? One person. Polygamy is the practice of marrying more than one person. ঠিক আছে? Something that cannot be avoided or prevented from happening. কি হ'ব পাৰে? Something that cannot be avoided. Something that you cannot avoid. কিবা এটা হ'বই. Something that is going to happen. কি হ'ব পাৰে answer to? Inevitable. Inevitable. ঠিক আছে? এটা quickly এইকেইটা words কি হ'ব? Irreparable. Repairable word to দেখাৰ লগে লগে গম পাবা something that cannot be repaired. Okay? Can't what? Repair. Right? Incomparable. Word ote ase incomparable. So something that you cannot compare. Okay? Compare koribo nwara. Indelible. Indelible ki hoise? Indelible something that you cannot wash. Okay? Something that you cannot wash. For example ki hoy? Marker pen or ink pur ki hoy? Indelible hoy. You cannot wash it. Okay? Next question. A person who travels on foot. Ki hobo pare? A person who travels on foot. Foot word to dekhar loge loge ki hobo? Pedestrian. ঠিক আছে? Pedestrian. A person who travels on foot is what? Pedestrian. Okay? A position or office for which no salary is paid. কি হ'ব পাৰে? A position or salary, you know, a position or office for which no salary is paid. No salary is paid ahar loge loge amar hoi jabo answer to honorary. ঠিক আছে? Honorary. Okay? এই wordটো যে আছে sinecure. Sinecure মানে হৈছে sinecure তোমার it's, you know, you get paid but for very less work. Okay? For very less work. Okay? No or less work or karne etu word associate hoy. Okay? So usually eta kar logot tomar example, suppose eta there is a political leader, so tekhetor logot kisuman aru manhu thake, some people they are just there. Okay? Iman eko hanghati kam nokore but they are getting paid. Okay? For you know little or no work. All right? Aru honorary hoise something where a position or office for which no salary is paid. Etu honorary hoy. Okay, one who collects or studies coins, medals, paper money. Etu ki hoy? Unba answer korise? Question number 10 or? Question number 10. One who collects or studies coins. Okay, is it a coins ahi jai? Coins, medals, a paper money. Remember it is numismatist. Okay, ki hobo? Numismatist. Someone who collects or what? Studies coins. Okay, coins word to ahar loge loge numismatist hoy jay. Itia philatelist ki hoy? Who is a philatelist? Ki porhe hihote? Philatelist ki porhe? Philatelist is someone who studies or collects stamps. Stamps. ঠিক আছে? Someone who studies a agote tumar letters belakote revenue stamps and all hebur agote lagaisile, ajikali to manhe letters on nilikhe, very rare, right? But philatelist hoise someone who studies or collects stamps. Okay? Someone who studies postal history. Postal history. A word to logot associate koriba. Postal history aru stamps. Philatelist buli koy. ঠিক আছে? And etu to ma koisu june someone who studies, right? Someone who studies what? Postal stamps, postal history. And the study of postal history and stamps is known as philately. Ki buli koy? Philately. Study tour naam hoise philately. ঠিক আছে? Philately. Aru june porhe. Okay, one who studies is known as philatelist. Numismatist gom paisa, study of coins. Okay? Aru anthropologist ami already porhisilu, human relations, right? Archaeologist to ami porhisu. What is archaeology? Janile archaeologist gom pai jaba, right? Someone who what? Excavates, right? Someone who goes on what? Someone who studies artifacts, right? They go in what? Excavation sites, they study artifacts. Next, extreme or irrational fear of confined spaces. Ami etu last class o porhisilu. ঠিক আছে? Last class o ami porhisilu, we dealt with these words. Ki hobo? Small space ahar loge loge ami claustrophobia tik koribo lagibo. ঠিক আছে? What is acrophobia? Quickly, what is acrophobia? What is xenophobia and hydrophobia? Ki hobo pare? Ki hobo pare? Question number 11 or ki hobo pare? Answer the study already ma kolu etu claustrophobia. Acro ki hoy? Acro word dekhar loge loge height. Height monot rakhibo lagibo. ঠিক আছে কিছুমান এইবোৰ words তোমালোকে you have to remember okay কিছুমান তোমালোকৰ মুখস্থ অলপ কৰিব লাগিব okay acro word to দেখাৰ লগে লগে hydro লগত associate কৰিবা xeno word to দেখাৰ লগে লগে কি হ'ব fear of কি আছিলে strangers okay fear of what strangers আৰু phobia যেতিয়া word to দেখিবা phobia মানে গম পাবা fear ঠিক আছে so xenophobia is what fear of strangers right claustrophobia কি হ'ব claustrophobia is fear of confined small spaces hydro word to dekha loge loge ami kihor logot associate korim water right so I hope tumaloke buji paisa okay moi okol etu questioner nohoy moi baki options bela koru tumalokor meaning to koi goi asu right aru ebor questions bur dekhi bhoy na khaba one word substitution to topic hoy right one word substitution or tumar etu bahut common topic hoy english ot one word substitutions ahe right aru moi jibur questions anisu hebur usually tumar repeat e hoy thake okay so next let's move on quickly to the next question the short speech or poem addressed to the spectators after the conclusion of a drama ki hudise prothomote short speech or poem koise after the conclusion right conclusion mane end dot the end dot ki boli koy the end dot the end dot tumar epilogue boli koy thik ase the end tumar eta is a word to prologue ase prologue hoise tumar beginning ot kwa thik ase beginning ot jikhini tumar speech ba poem ji koise in the beginning of a drama tak ki boli koy prologue eta jodi question ot ahi jaite after the conclusion yate jodi conclusion or jaga jodi beginning word to ahi jay tite ami ki tik koribo lagibo prologue ot tik koribo lagibo thik ase but amak yate ki hudise end hudise na conclusion so tumi ki hobo etu epilogue answer hoy gol what is monologue what is soliloquy monologue is something it's what তুমি নিজে জুনটো কৈ আছা ওকে ডায়লগ হৈছে দুজনৰ মাজত কনভাৰসেশন টু ওকে মনোলগ ইজ ওয়ান ওকে আৰু soliloquy to কি হয় জানা নে what is soliloquy মই লাস্ট ক্লাছত কৈছিলো ওকে what is soliloquy তোমাৰ হৈছে যেতিয়া তোমাৰ there is an actor on a stage right and he is saying his inner feelings he is expressing his inner feelings out he is saying it out aloud jure koi ase je ki bhabi ase nijor thoughts nijor inner feelings belak jure loudly express kori ase thik ase so hetu ki boli koy he je tumar jikhini kotha koise he je inner feelings bur express korise he khini ke soliloquy boli koy thik ase next ki hoise one who possesses many talents and is capable of doing many things ki hobo pare one who possesses many talents and is capable of doing many things is known as versatile we call that person what a versatile person thik ase ita is a prodigy word to ase prodigy word to tumar associate hoy child or logot bachar logot so child prodigy bule hoy thik ase prodigy mane someone a child who is exceptionally talented okay adult or logot ami prodigy word to usually associate no koru child or logot ami koru exceptional gifted eblak synonyms hoy now this is important thik ase kyo important ma koi asu a person who leaves his own country to settle to another permanently ki hobo pare answer to ki hobo pare a person who leaves his own country to settle to another permanently ki hobo pare answer to ki hobo pare immigrant right very good immigrant hobo pare now tumaloke jana ne immigrant word to aru immigrant word to majot difference to jana ne ki hoy immigrant aru immigrant duta word dekhile ba hunile olop similar lage immigrant right aru ki hoy confusing hobo pare meaning to jana ne immigrant aru immigrant or meaning to ki hoy immigrant to gome pala immigrant to ki hoy someone who leaves his own country mane exit korise exit right exiting what his own country nijor native country eri kot goise beleg eta country settle hobo goise thik ase hetu ki hoy that is known as what immigrant ki hoy eta immigrant ki hoise what is immigrant মই এটা এক্সাম্পল এটা তোমালোকক দি আছো She is an immigrant from India. She is an immigrant to USA. এই এক্সাম্পল কেটা দেখি তোমালোকৰ ক্লিয়াৰ হৈ যাব এক্সাম্পলটো একবাৰ বুজাৰ লগে লগে যে এমিগ্ৰেন্ট হৈছে what someone who leaves his own country permanently এৰি থৈ গুছি গৈছে to another country so তুমি হেতু কি হবা you are an immigrant from India মানে তুমি ইন্ডিয়া এৰি থৈ কত গৈছা তুমি আমেৰিকাত গৈছা so তুমি আমেৰিকাৰ কি হবা ইমিগ্ৰেন্ট হবা আমেৰিকাৰ ইমিগ্ৰেন্ট হৈ যাবা ঠিক আছে আমেৰিকাৰ ইমিগ্ৰেন্ট মানে কি you went to what you settled in another country okay so you will be an immigrant and immigrant ekeloge immigrant kar hoba tumi india eri thoi gusi goisa so india tumi permanently eri thoi kot goisa america t goisa thik ase so tumi india ki hoba immigrant hoba right india immigrant hoba aru usa ki hoba usa ki hoba immigrant hoba right so immigrant aru emigrant or I hope tumaloke concept to buji pala I hope aji par aru confusion nohoy thik ase one person is both an immigrant and immigrant it depends thik ase it depends code depend kore when you are moving when you are leaving one country and what moving to another country to settle permanently tita tumi ki hoy jaba india tumi immigrant hoy gola because india tumi ei thoi gusi gola exit kori dila aru yate ki hoise immigrant tumi yate you have entered a what new country okay so tumi tar pisot india immigrant hoy gola you moved and then you went and on what you settled here you settled where to usa so tumi usa ki hoy gola immigrant hoy gola thik ase okay next murder or killing of a king okay last ami etu to aji part 2 korai asu moi one word substitution or part 1 ot moi etu killing or uporoto মই কেটামান এক্সাম্পল দিছিলো it ends with what side is a cide side বুলি দেখা পালে গম পাবা associated with what killing so yate murder or killing of a king is known as regicide ঠিক আছে murder or killing of a king or a queen is known as what regicide homicide কি হয় homicide to তোমার হইছে when one person kills another the killing of one person okay by another is known as homicide ঠিক আছে homicide to তোমার কি হৈ গৈছে it's a umbrella term it's a general term specific যদি মইটা বুজাই আছো যে king ok মাৰিছে বা queen ok মাৰিছে তিতা কি হ'ব regicide হ'ব answer to আৰু patricide patri word to দেখাৰ লগে লগে আমি father ৰ লগত associate কৰিম ঠিক আছে so patricide হলে killing of father fratricide fratry দেখাৰ লগে লগে আমি brother ৰ লগত associate কৰিম brother ঠিক আছে brother ৰ লগত তোমালোকে Ito to aji june notun ke sai asa aji to part 2 you are studying right we are dealing with these questions notun jun bolu ahise students tumaloke part 1 to ebar saba thik ase tateo I have dealt with a lot of questions okay a lot of questions a lot of words all right a doctor who specializes in the treatment of children or logot ahar loge ki hobo children buli hole ami pediatrician buli ko ki buli ko pediatrician okay when it comes to children or kune sai a doctor who specializes ki hobo tumar pediatrician itia if I say a doctor who specializes on childbirth moi jodi ko a doctor who specializes in what childbirth boli kole ki hobo answer to gynecologist hobo na nohoy gynecologist okay a doctor who specializes in reproduction right childbirth reproduction answer to ki hobo tumalokor gynecologist hobo right ite ate so derma mo koisilwe derma dekha loge skin right cardio heart aru neuro ki nerves okay handwritten matter or book written by hand ki hoy handwritten ba a book written by hand hole manuscript hobo answer to thik ase moving on quickly moving on to what the next questions animals that live both on land and water mo olop agoteo koisilu bujai thakote ki hobo both land and water buli likha thakile amphibians hobo thik ase amphibians aquatics buli kole only water hobo thik ase mammals ki hoy mammals animals that give birth and do not lay eggs okay Animals that live both on what? Land and in water. কি হ'ব? Amphibians, mammals মই কি ক'লো? Animals that what? Give birth, do not lay eggs. All right? Reptiles কি হ'ব? Reptiles যদি তোমাৰ আহে, animals that are cold blooded. ঠিক আছে? Cold blooded, hard scales. Hard scales on their bodies তেতিয়া reptiles হ'ব. ঠিক আছে? One who goes on a journey to a holy place for religious reasons. কি হ'ব পাৰে? Religious reasons or journey বুলি কোৱাৰ লগে লগে আমাৰ pilgrim হৈ যায়. ঠিক আছে? Pilgrim. Okay? A state of complete disorder or lawlessness due to lack of government. এটো কি হ'ব পাৰে? Complete disorder, lawlessness word আহাৰ লগে লগে আমি anarchy কি কৰিব লাগিব? টিক কৰিব লাগিব. ঠিক আছে? Anarchy. Okay? A state of complete disorder or what? Lawlessness. Okay? Lawlessness. তোমাৰ এটা আনসাৰটো কি হ'ব? Anarchy হ'ব. What is monarchy? Monarchy, king. Okay? All right? Monarchy লগত কি word to associate হয়? King. Okay? A place that is ruled by what? A monarch, a king. Tyranny or autocracy কি হয়? Autocracy word to হৈছে when one person, one single person has what? Complete control. ঠিক আছে? হেতু হৈছে autocracy. ইতিয়া এই যে word tyranny to হৈছে, tyranny to তোমাৰ কি হৈছে? Tyranny to কি থাকে? There is also just one person who is ruling. ঠিক আছে? It is a government, okay, which is what? Government which is ruled by fear. Fear, force. ঠিক আছে? Tyranny. তেতিয়া হলে কি হ'ব? তোমাৰ autocracy মই ক'লো one person. Okay? Tyranny to হৈ গৈছে, it's a government ruled by fear, force. কোন আছিলে তোমাৰ? Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler. He was a tyrannical ruler. ঠিক আছে? He was a tyrannical ruler. কিয় কৈ আছো? Because he led with what? He ruled with fear. He ruled with force. ঠিক আছে? All right? Monarchy গম পাইছা? Anarchy যেতিয়া তোমাৰ complete disorder, lawlessness হৈ যায়, তেতিয়া তোমাৰ anarchy হৈ যায়. That which cannot be heard. Heard আহিছে, heard clearly. কি হ'ব? Heard. Heardৰ লগত কি word associate হ'ব তোমাৰ? When you cannot hear. Hear হোৱাৰ লগে লগে inaudible হৈ যাব. Visible. এটো কি? Vision. Right? So questionত যদি তোমালোকৰ আহে something that cannot be seen clearly, কি হ'ব? Or you cannot see something. Right? কি হ'ব? Invisible. Indelible মই already কৈছো something that you cannot wash. যোনটো তুমি কি গুছাব নোৱাৰা. All right? Next we have what? Audacious. Audacious মানে জানা নে? Audacious meaning to audacious কি হ'ব পাৰে? Audacious. What is the meaning of the word audacious? Audacious হৈ গৈছে who is extremely, someone who is extremely bold. ঠিক আছে? Extremely, someone who is extremely bold. Please forgive my handwriting. I hope তোমালোকে বুজি পাইছা. ঠিক আছে? এই যে wordটো দেখিছা commuter. Commuter মানে জানা নে? Commuter. What do you understand by the word commuter? Commuter হৈছে someone who travels daily. Daily basis ত যোনে অহা যোৱা কৰে. Daily basis ত কোনে অহা যোৱা কৰে? People who work, people who go to school, right? They move from what? Their home. They move from their home to their workplace or their school, right? Every day অহা যোৱা কৰে. তেতিয়া commuter হ'ব. ঠিক আছে? Pilgrim. Pilgrim word to আমি কোৰ লগত associate কৰো again religious reasons লগত আমি associate কৰো. Tourist to জানাই, tourist মানে তুমি এটা বেলেগ what place ত ফুৰিবলৈ গৈছা, right? And then wanderer. Wanderer মানে কি? Wanderer is someone who does not have what? A fixed home. Fixed destination নাই. ঠিক আছে? Someone who what? Wanderer মানে কি? Wanderer অসমীয়াত কি হয়? যাযাবৰ বুলি কয়, right? Wanderer someone who does not have a fixed home. ঠিক আছে? এটা wanderer তোমাৰ আৰু কি হ'ব পাৰে? Nomad. Nomad word to আহে. ঠিক আছে? Nomad, wanderer. ঠিক আছে? এইবোৰ কি হয়? Synonyms হয়. Okay? বুজি পালা? I hope বুজি পাইছা. তোমালোকে words বোৰ অলপ টান পাব পাৰা বা এই বস্তুটো দেখা পাই অলপ ভয় খাব পাৰা, right? যে তোমালোকৰ questions বিলাক মই central exams ৰ কিছুমান questions আনিছো, right? মই বাৰে বাৰে কৈছো যে questions কি কোট আহিছে কি আহিছে হেবু নাচাবা কেতিয়া তোমাৰ কোনটো এক্সামৰ পৰা আহিছে আমি টপিকটো চাই আছো we are dealing with what one word substitutes, right? আৰু এটো প্ৰায় recurring topic হয়, right? আহিয়ে থাকে questions তোমালোকৰ আহিয়ে থাকিব repeating and এইবোৰ questions কি হয় এইবোৰ বহুত common questions হয় আৰু অকল আমি questions ৰ লগত deal কৰি থাকা নাই আমি এই words options বিলাকৰ meaning মই তোমাক কৈ গৈ আছো বুজাই গৈ আছো কিয় বুজাই গৈ আছো suppose তোমালোকৰ এটা wanderer বুলি যদি questionটো আহিল someone who does not have a fixed home someone who moves from one place to another, who does not have a fixed home. Tita ki boli tumi tick koriba, wanderer tick koriba, right? So ei blak words or meaning buro janibo lagibo, right? Okol ami question to say answer to okol ami nokoru, ami baki words bila koro, meaning bur we have to what? Know, right? Next, moving on quickly. Ki hobo? Next, a match or contest in which what? Neither side wins. Ki hobo pare? Neither side wins. Neither side wins. Mane kunu jika nai. Ki boli kohe tuk? Tai boli kobo, right? One who is indifferent to what? Ki boli kobo? One who is indifferent to pain, pleasure, joy or grief. A word 2 is very common, huh? Age question number 23. Question number 23. One who is indifferent. A question 2. A question 2. One who is indifferent to pleasure, pain, joy or grief. Etu ki hobo answer to stoic. Thik ase? Someone ami stoic boli ko. Thik ase? We call it what? Stoic. Right? What is who is stoic? Someone who is indifferent to pleasure. Mane, if I say that he is a stoic person, okay, ki bujam? Je, he does not get very excited when something happy is happening. Kiba bhal holeo ekdam hanghatik excited nohoy, aru kiba beya holeo he does not break down, bhangi no pore. Thik ase? So henuka personok ami ki boli ko? Stoic boli bujao. Thik ase? And he is what? Indifferent to pleasure, pain, joy, grief. He is known as a stoic. The study of skin and its diseases. Ki hobo? Study of skin and diseases. আমি আগতে কৈছো স্কিন দেখাৰ লগে লগে আমি ডাৰ্মাটোলজিষ্টত আমি কি কৰিম ডাৰ্মাটোলজিত আমি ক্লিক কৰিম বায়োলজি তো জানাই লিভিং অৰ্গানিজমছ ষ্টাডি হয় অফথেলমোলজি কি হয় অফথেলমো বুলি দেখাৰ লগে লগে আইজৰ লগত এছ'চিয়েট কৰিবা অফথেলমোলজি ওকে আইজ অলৰাইট প্যাথোলজি আমি পঢ়িছিলো ৰাইট প্যাথোলজি আমি কি পঢ়িছিলো প্যাথোলজি ইট ইজ দ্য ষ্টাডি অফ হোৱাট স্যাম্পলছ ৰাইট স্যাম্পলছ The life history of a person written by someone else. A question to ahie thake. Tumalukor state or exams to dekhiba, center to tumi dekhisa. A life what history of a person written by someone else. Someone else hoi joar loge loge biography hobo. Jodi nije likhise ki hobo autobiography hobo. Memoir moi koisilu. Ki hoy? What is memoir? What is memoir? Memoir so autobiography aru memoir or majot basic difference eta ase and what is that difference? Autobiography hoise tumi birthor para gotekhini likha. ঠিক আছে suppose মই আজি মোৰ নিজৰ autobiography লিখি আছো মোৰ জন্মৰ পৰা সব মই লিখি যাম ঠিক আছে memoir হৈছে তুমি you are writing a true incident ঠিক আছে নিজৰ true incident এটাৰ ওপৰত তুমি ষ্টৰীটো লিখি আছা এটা স্পেসিফিক টাইমৰ এই বাৰ্থৰ পৰা তুমি গোটে লিখা নাই ঠিক আছে এটা স্পেসিফিক টাইম কোনবা এটা লাইফৰ কোনবা এটা স্পেসিফিক টাইম তাৰ পৰা তুমি এটা ট্ৰু ষ্টৰী উলাই you know you have extracted and you have written it হেতুৱে ডিফাৰেন্স autobiography আৰু memoirৰ মাজত ঠিক আছে okay chronicle ebu tomar series thake books or okay and then what is this government or rule by a small privileged group of wealthy people ki hobo pare ki hoy etu answer question number 26 or answer to ki hobo pare government or what government or rule by a small privileged group of wealthy people etu plutocracy hoy thik ase wealthy people plutocracy okay I think we have come to the last slide okay a last questions keta ase a remedy or cure for all diseases ki hobo pare a remedy or cure for all diseases or difficulties is a remedy or cure for all disease koise na for all disease mane tumi nije bhaba for all disease hole etu miracle hobo na noy right it will be something what miraculous panacea hobo answer thik ase a remedy or cure for all diseases or difficulties ঠিক আছে সব ডিজিজ সব ডিফিকাল্টিৰ কাৰণে তোমাৰ এটোৱে এটাই কিউৰ আছে যা কি হ'ব পেনেচিয়া হ'ব ঠিক আছে ইটস পেনেচিয়া এন্ড দেন ওয়ান হু রাইটস what one who is able to use both hands with equal skill and ease কি হ'ব both hands কৈছে both hands যোনে ইউজ কৰিব পাৰে that person is known as ambidextrous ঠিক আছে কি বুলি কয় ambidextrous মনত ৰাখিবা Okay, someone who can use both hands with what? Equal skill and ease. Dukhon hatere likhi ase with equal what? Ease and skill. That person is known as ambidextrous. Ambivalent mane someone who is, you know, undecisive. Mane ki? Mane potokke decision lobonare mixed feeling thaka. ঠিক আছে, someone who has what? Mixed feeling. Okay, mixed feeling, who is undecisive. Okay, lasting or living for a very short temporary period of time. কি হ'ব পাৰে এটো? Very short temporary period ahar loge loge ami ki tik korim? Ephemeral. Ki tik korim? Ephemeral. ঠিক আছে, ephemeral or aru ki tumar synonyms hobo pare ahi thake porikhat? Transient. Okay, transient, temporary. ঠিক আছে, ebur ki hoy? Ephemeral or ki hoy? Synonyms hoy. Okay, aru something that lasts for very short time, temporary, ki hobo pare? Tumar answer to ephemeral. It is a eternal word to ase, permanent ase, perennial ase, ebur sob eketa eta word e bujay ki hoy? Permanent. ঠিক আছে, eternal মানে tumar something that stays forever, perennial o he long time okane thake, permanent to jana it lives for what? Permanent, forever or karne. A person who speaks or knows many languages fluently, very important question ahiye thake pray, ki hoy? Person who speaks. Last question to answer to dia, tumar last question to answer to dia কি হ'ব পাৰে? কি হ'ব পাৰে? A person who speaks or knows many languages fluently is known as a polyglot. Remember, polyglot. ঠিক আছে, someone who knows, someone who speaks a lot of language is known as a polyglot. Linguist মানে কি? A person who studies language পঢ়ে. Okay, someone who studies language. Okay, polyglot mane someone who speaks many language. Translator mane ki? Translator mane ki? If I am speaking in English, moi jodi gutte khini sob English ot koi asu, a person who translate Assamia translate kori di ase, that person who is translating is known as who? A translator. Okay, and bilingual mane ki? By word to ahar loge loge tumi gom paba two. By mane two. So bilingual mane ki hobo? Someone who speaks two language. ঠিক আছে, এটা যদি মই কম monolingual মানে কি? Someone who speaks what? Just one language. ঠিক আছে, okay, aru polyglot is someone who speaks many languages. Okay, so I hope this is the end of today's session, today's class. I hope you understood. It could be a little difficult, right? All of difficult hobo pare, right? I am not excluding that factor, but I really hope tumaluke buji pala, because you know I have explained to you the words, baki buro tumar options or words bilako mo bujai disu, right? So I hope you people understood. I hope you people enjoyed today's class. Okay, please let me know if you liked today's class. Aru ma bare bare koi asu je aji etu tumar it's part 2 of one word substitution. Aru agor eta part ma koraisilu last Monday. So tumaluke hey, you know, part 1 to ebar sai loba, because tateo I have dealt with a lot of words aru recurring topics junbur tumar pray ahi thake, pray hudi thake. ঠিক আছে, hebu questions I have brought. All right, so I hope you learned something new today. I hope you enjoyed today's class. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you. I'll see you next week. I'll see you for my class, and please, you know, subscribe to our channel so that more class logote baki classes or notification tumaloke pua. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you. Take care.